Good morning, I'm Charlotte. Welcome to Wake Up Well this morning. I wonder, is there anything in your family that has been passed down from generation to generation? Maybe it's an old family recipe that's hidden away at the back of one of your cookbooks. Maybe it's a physical feature like big brown eyes that everyone in your family seems to have. Or maybe it's a thought pattern or belief that just seems to be passed down from one generation to the next. These things can be called generational legacies or patterns. And what I find really interesting is that we see patterns like this from generation to generation in the pages of the Bible with the history of the people of God. And we see that in Hebrews chapter 4 around the topic of Sabbath and rest, which is what we're thinking about this week. And Hebrews chapter 4 seems to paint this picture of the history of Sabbath and humankind. And so it says that Sabbath, this gift of rest from God to us, was there right from the beginning when God created the world, because on the seventh day, God rested from all his work. It says that when Moses led the people of God out of Egypt, out of slavery and into the wilderness, they were offered this special rest. But they disobeyed God for whatever reason, and they were not able to enter into God's rest. And then it says that Joshua, who went on to lead the people of God, even he could not give them this rest. And then it says something really amazing. In Hebrews 4 verse 9, it says this: "So there is a special rest still waiting for the people of God. For all who have entered into God's rest have rested from their labours, just as God did after creating the world. So let us do our best to enter that rest. But if we disobey God as the people of Israel did, we will fall." And so God knows that rest and Sabbath is so important for us as humans, and so he offers it to us as this gift. And time again, the people of God reject this gift of rest. We are human, and we just fall at this hurdle. And yet God in his grace offers it again, and yet we are human, and we see this generational pattern happen again and again. I really believe that this year, 2020, is another time in which God is offering us this special gift of rest. Lockdown was a time where we slowed down, we were able to really think about what our lives look like and recalibrate our lives around the simple things and the slower pace. And now as we enter into September and life picks up around us, children go back to school, you may find yourself going back to the office, other things in your life have resumed. They might look different, but they're starting again. I really believe God is offering us this gift of rest. And it's a time for us to think about, are we going to follow those same generational patterns of being human and falling down and not accepting God on his gift, his special gift of Sabbath rest? Or are we going to really embrace that and wonder what that could look like in our life going forward? I don't know about you, but I often find myself realising and recognising that the Sabbath is so important, but life just can get in the way. It has a habit of doing that, doesn't it? But our God is a God of grace, and he offers this to us as a gift. And he also knows that when we are human, we fall down, and yet he offers it again to us. And so remember this morning that God offers us grace in the midst of this. And I think this is just perfectly captured by the words in verse 11. It says this: "So let us do our best to enter that rest." God knows that Sabbath is so important to us. It's a gift he gives us. And yet he knows we're human. And sometimes we allow things to get in the way. But it doesn't mean that we can't come back to that place of entering the rest that God offers to us, that special Sabbath rest. And so my encouragement to you this morning is just as it says here, let us do our best to enter that rest. Let us recognise this gift that God is giving us, and let us know his grace when we, for whatever reason, turn away. Let's come back and enter that Sabbath rest for our souls that God gives us in his grace.